This is the conclusion. About time to wrap things up for the Bruticus series. And we have a big, beautiful bundle of Bruticus. Yes, please. Welcome back to the channel, folks. This is Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot, and it's great to see you again. I thank you for coming here. By all means, comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know what you think, what you'd like to see me do. Check me out across social media. Check out Machinery Man. Check out the Everything Factor. And we are at the end of another series. This is the build video for Bruticus. And we're looking at two. We have the Fall of Cybertron Bruticus, we have the Combiner Wars Bruticus that I have customized. I guess technically it's also a version of the Unite Warriors Bruticus, but we'll have a look at both of them now. I was happy with the Fall of Cybertron Bruticus, and I always thought he got a bit of a raw deal, to be honest with you, until I got this guy. So let's have a look here. Here's your main chords, Onslaught, and we've already talked about him, and he's not a great figure. Here is a leg, it is Brawl, and we have a peg on the body, we have a port down here. And the idea is that you press that in. It's really tight. It's, I think, too tight for kids. Over here, this guy's probably going to fall apart as I put him in because he usually does. Just like that. That's what you get from the Fall of Cybertron Swindle. I mean, can you honestly tell me that a kid can do that? You saw how much I was struggling with it there. I'm sorry, I don't believe that a kid can do that. I don't believe that a kid can do it. Not so it's fun for them, but nevertheless, here we have legs on this Bruticus. And, he stands about a foot tall. We'll see a comparison in, just a little bit. Then we have this arm with the, awesome karate chop hand. This guy's terrible. He's a horrible figure. I despise him. That goes on over right there. And originally, what... This guy wants to fall over on me already. There. Originally what would happen is, this arm would be on the other, well, which way would it be? This would be on the other side, and Blast Off would go on over this peg here, and we would have another arm over here. And all of their guns go together, which I thought was kind of ingenious. All of their individual weapons peg together, and you could peg that down into, Blast Off's hand to give him weapons. Now, if you wanted to actually use the weapon, you'd have to turn the arm and shoot it this way, cool guy style. But I was okay with that too. Now you'll notice that the weapon for Onslaught isn't here. It's a green double barrel cannon thing. That's because in Bruticus mode, there's a couple of pegs here and here, well, here and here, and it slots on over that. The problem is, as soon as you move an arm like this, it's not doing it now. There you go. See, the whole shoulder piece moves, and it would knock that gun off. It was a nice idea. It was a nice idea. I'm glad that they gave it a try. It didn't quite work out. This Bruticus didn't quite work out. It sufficed for me. I thought it was a nice Bruticus. I thought he was an imposing looking Bruticus. All things considered. I really did. I didn't even mind that he was all these weird multicolors. But as far as the Bruticus goes, this guy was probably about a 6. He was probably about a 6 on the whole. He certainly wasn't accurate to game, certainly wasn't accurate to the original animation, certainly wasn't accurate to the original toys. But a nice outing, and I feel like it was a practice run for them with combiners. I feel like they knew back then, hey, we're going to end up doing a bunch of combiners. Bruticus is a good one to give a test run with because people love Bruticus. How can you not? Listen to the guy's name, Bruticus. Enter this. Especially after we had a whole bunch of really great third-party interpretations. And we take, this time for the combination sequence, we have the opening in the main core body, and we have the peg on the limbs. And instead of having to squeeze something up over, you just slide it in. And it's in. And you just, as you know, as I just said, and as you've probably seen, slide it in. And when you come up to the top of this guy, it's probably easiest if I bend his knees. When you come up to the top of this guy, I kind of like this. You need to open the chest flap out a little bit. You need to flip that piece out on the shoulder. And you need to bring the whole thing back. Straighten it up and bring it all the way back. And that opens up the slot right here for this guy to slide into. Just like that. And you can see I have his hand facing the wrong way. Well, that's easy enough to fix. We turn his hand around and we turn the thumb the other way. And now we take the chest piece again and we bring it back. Oh, I don't want the slide vortex out of his slot. We bring it back and we snap it in. And on the other side, we're going to do the same thing. We open up this, we bring out the little piece of the chest, we flip this all the way back, and now we will take blast off and slide him in and close the chest up again, and I need to do the same thing with the hand and turn it around and move the thumb, and now we can stand this guy up. Just like so, right here. And we have another Bruticus. In terms of size, I mean, they're pretty similar in height, except this guy looks a lot leaner and therefore looks a lot smaller. This guy looks a lot bulkier and bigger. If we just move him over slightly and we put this guy here in the middle, let's just, out of interest sake, let's bring in, as another point of reference, let's bring in Menasor. And you can see that the Fall of Cybertron Bruticus, he's a lot leaner. It's not that he's really a lot shorter or smaller. It's just with that deluxe core, he is so much leaner. And that's what you get for using a deluxe as the body. We'll take him out of it. We'll take that little 5 out of it. Here's the funny part. This guy, Menasor, has really been kind of touted as the Combiner Wars loser, as the worst combiner that there was. And you know what? It's not unwarranted. I'll talk about him later when we do kind of a little bit of a ranking. I'm waiting on that Computron in order to do that. I have done a few fixes with him, and in doing so I have improved him a little bit. But we'll talk about that another time. I'll take him out of it. But the irony is that for as terrible as Menasor seems to be, Bruticus does everything right. This guy, if you were looking for animation accuracy, or I'm sorry, if you were looking for toy accuracy, hey, the Combiner Wars version had it nailed. It was a 10 across the board as a representation of the toy Bruticus. If you want the animation, hey, Unite Warriors, that looks like a 9.5, if not a 10 across the board. Probably a 10. I went with a little bit of both. And I love the way that it turned out. I think it all comes together and works really nicely with this Combiner Wars representation. He is at least a 9 for animation. And, you know, in terms of articulation for this guy, you know, when I go back to the Fall of Cybertron one, I already talked about his arm. You know, he has a bit of a elbow bend, but nothing major. Nothing at the wrist. The legs, you know, they could go back and they could go forward. Easier to go forward if you kind of break the sculpt on Onslaught and bring the leg all the way forward. There was a rotation at the knee, but it's so very tight. And the knee did bend. It wasn't a bad outing. It just had its flaws. But this guy, you know, the head moves left and right. It looks up a little bit, it looks down a little bit. And it's great that he can look down upon other smaller Transformers. As with a lot of these combiners, you know, his legs go out, well out to the side. And unlike the hotspot mold, that issue with this leg doesn't happen with this guy. It's so solid. The legs go forward a nice way. They go back all the way. There's a beautiful swivel at the knee. There's a beautiful deep 90-degree knee bend. The feet obviously can move because they're pegged in. The hands obviously can move because they're pegged in. But the real star with this guy is his arms. His arms. One of the problems I had with Menasor is that the arms are just terrible on it. With Defensor, I did some work there, but the arms were kind of terrible on him too. Why aren't they with this guy? The chest piece of Defensor is soft, rubbery plastic. The chest piece of Bruticus is a hard, rigid plastic. And you want to know the difference that such a plastic makes? Here are the arms going in and out, and they both do it on both sides. They go in and out. And you have a beautiful deep elbow bend on both. And you could even, on both, you could even go back. But when you would try to go forward on the Defensor combiner, this whole section would move because the chest piece didn't peg on securely because it's soft rubbery plastic. The chest piece pegs on securely, very securely and tight with this guy. And look what you can do. All the way around. And that was just a gun that fell off that I had pegged into Vortex. But you can go around all day with his arm. And guess what? You are not going to see the peg on the chest come out. You are not going to have to see the body kind of come apart. Honestly, I know I didn't go for Optimus Maximus or I don't even remember the other name. Ultra Prime, was it? Whatever. I don't have Skylink yet. I can't comment on it. But it seemed to me that after Superion, everything was just downhill for Combiner Wars. It was just a downhill spiral. And in the end, with this guy, we have an absolute winner. We have a winner. We end the Combiner Wars series, even if it's mostly repaints and whatnot. The slight differences they made, like putting hard plastic on the chest, made all the difference in the world. This guy's a winner. If you don't have Bruticus, if you've been turned off by the Combiner Wars line because of a few failures here and there, do yourself a favor. At least get Bruticus. And probably Superion. Anyway, that's it. This guy's an absolute win. The Fall Cybertron version, about a 5. This guy, hey, he knocks it out of the park. Depending on the look you're going for, he's somewhere between a 9 and a 10. That's it. That wraps up another Combiner War series. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching. I really, really appreciate it. And I will see you all the next time that we have a visit right here inside the videos. Hey again, folks. I put everything away and then I remembered. I hadn't done the most exciting, the most important part of this entire series. I hadn't shown the collector cards. There's Brawl. It looks like the package. It's nice artwork. And it's Brawl's colors, so I appreciate that. It's kind of Brawl's colors. So if you're into artwork on cards, you know, here is Vortexes. I think that one actually looks really nice. You can see that he is colored more toy accurate. Here is Swindles, looking very swindly, and I like that one too. I think that turned out very well. This is Blast-Offs. I mean, it looks good for the toy. It really doesn't put me in the mind of Blast-Off, but okay, whatever. This is the box for Onslaught. It is the only box that I still have, and I'm not one to keep boxes. There's the bio and the art on the back. And, you know, since I have it here, his instruction booklet. I have all their instruction booklets, those I do keep. But last and not least, look how beautiful that is. I do feel like, though, it's kind of brightly colored. Like, it looks like he should be in a garden, you know, among a bed of flowers. But still, beautiful spring colors, even though the artwork's not as intimidating as the figure. Anyway, I just wanted to add that in at the end because I've shown these with all of the other Combiner Wars figures, and I hadn't with these guys. So there you go. For those of you into collector cards, enjoy. And for those of you not, enjoy anyway. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys the next time that we meet inside the videos.